Okay, let's talk about something we all struggle with, self-control. But here's the thing, we're gonna flip the script on this one. Because the answer isn't just gritting your teeth and having more willpower. Nope, it's something way, way smarter.
You know the feeling, right? It's been a long day, you've made a million tiny decisions, you've put out fires, and you are just done. Your brain feels like mush. And that, of course, is the exact moment temptation decides to stroll through the door. Ah yes, the internal monologue. That leftover slice of cake in the fridge starts whispering your name and suddenly you're an Olympic-level mental gymnast. We tell ourselves these little stories, we justify it, we rationalize, and then, of course, we feel guilty and blame ourselves for not being more disciplined.
But what if that guilt is totally misplaced? What if this isn't a personal failing at all? This is the core idea we're exploring today. The problem isn't that you're weak. The problem is the environment you're in. It's all about your setup.
So first, let's dive into what I call the willpower trap. We need to unpack exactly why trying to just power through on sheer force of will is basically a losing game in the world we live in today.
I mean, just look at this contrast. For our ancestors, the world made sense for their brains. Sugar was this super rare, amazing find. A threat, like a tiger, was pretty hard to miss. And you didn't go to the gym. Effort was just what you did to survive. Our world today, it's the complete opposite.
And this gets to a really key concept: evolutionary mismatch. Think of it like this. Our brains are running on super old software, but we're living in a world with a brand new high-speed operating system. Our basic wiring just hasn't had time to catch up to a reality of nonstop notifications and food delivery apps. And this really says it all, doesn't it? At your core, you have an inner caveman that's hardwired to crave sugar, to conserve energy, and to react to whatever is right in front of it. But that inner caveman is now trying to navigate a digital jungle of infinite cake and Netflix. It's just not a fair fight.
So if our brains are so mismatched with our world, what are we supposed to do? Well, that brings us to the second big idea, and it's a game changer. Design beats discipline.
This right here, this is the whole thing. Instead of trying to force yourself to be some kind of superhuman with endless self-control, the much smarter move is to build an environment where you don't need to use it nearly as much. We're shifting from brute force to smart strategy. And why is this so critical? Well, because willpower is a finite resource. It's like a battery on your phone. It drains throughout the day. It was really designed for these short, intense bursts of effort. Like running from that lion. Not for the 24/7, low-grade marathon of resistance our modern lives demand.
And on top of that, your brain's #1 job is to be efficient. It wants to save energy, so it will always look for the easiest path, the shortcut. Trying to fight that basic instinct with willpower is like trying to swim upstream in a powerful river. You might make progress for a little while, but eventually you're just going to get tired.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like in the real world? Let's get practical. Let's look at some design in action.
These examples are just perfect. See what they did? Neha didn't try to will herself to stop scrolling. She just made it physically inconvenient. Arun made the healthy choice the lazy choice. And Mira, she built a social structure that literally pulls her toward her goal. None of them needed more discipline. They just used better design.
And this all brings us to the final and most important shift in thinking. It is time to stop resisting and start designing.
Look, willpower isn't useless. We've just been using it all wrong. The best way to think about it is like the emergency brake in your car. It is incredibly useful in a crisis, right? But you would never try to drive around all day with the emergency brake even slightly pulled. That's what design is for. It's about building a smoother road so you don't need the brake.
So, let's go all the way back to that late-night cake temptation. In a redesigned world, that battle is already over before it even starts. The decision about dessert was made days ago. The leftovers are out of sight, out of mind. You brushed your teeth, which sends a powerful signal to your brain that eating time is over. The whole negotiation, it just never happens.
And that's the real freedom in all of this. It's not about being a master of resistance. It's about removing the need to resist in the first place. When you make the right choice way ahead of time, you free your future self from having to fight that same exhausting battle over and over and over again.
So I want you to let this one sink in. Stop beating yourself up. Stop blaming your inner caveman for losing a game it was never equipped to win. Instead, become the architect of your own world.
Because when you stack the deck in your own favor, success stops being an exception and it starts becoming the default.
So I'll leave you with this question. Just think about one area of your life where you feel like you're always fighting yourself. What is one tiny change you could make to your environment, not to you, but to your environment, that would make the better choice the easiest choice? Seriously, think about it. The answer might just change everything.